Alright, this is Bosch, and today we're going to do a track breakdown. So we're going to look at one of my tracks, it's called Kumbo, and we're going to break it down, each individual instrument, track, all the effects and everything like that. I'm just going to show you how I made the tune basically. This video is in association with Scraps, and Scraps is a website where you can get all kinds of music production help. There's tutorials, project files to download, sample packs, even ghost production on there. So go check out www.scrapsaudio.com where you can get the project file to work along with this tutorial.
First, what I'm going to do is play you a bit of the tune. So let's play you about half of it or something. That'll feature most of the parts, and then I'll just skip ahead and play you this part as well. But let's have a listen. Alright, so that's the general idea of the tune. And then what I'm going to do... Oh yeah, let me just play this bit. There's a little bit here as well. Just a little plucked mute guitar. Just wanted to play that bit as well. So what I'm going to do this time, let's start from the top down, because last time I did it from left to right and I missed a couple of things. So first we've got kicks, pretty simple kick pattern. Just 4 to the floor kicks, and then this section here where it changes, the rhythm changes a little bit, it goes to a half-time feel. So you can hear there's two loops, two different loops there that cover 4 bars each, I think. The kick itself, disco kickers 74. And then all I've done there is taken a lot of the top end off and a little bit of this subby sort of boomy bass stuff. I just wanted the kick hit. So let's have a listen without that. Let me just find where the sample is. And when I click this, I just need to quickly check that my microphone's still coming through into the program. Yes, it is. Because yesterday I recorded this video and I lost my mic for the whole video and didn't realise until I finished. So, let me... Where is it? There we go. Alright, so this is it with the EQ on as it sounds in the tune. And then this is it with the EQ off. So you can hear all that top really clicky, tappy top bits just completely gone. I think it just makes for a bit of a nicer kick. Now, something else I'm going to do before we fully get into it is I just need to turn... Yeah, I'm going to turn everything up just a little bit. Oh my god. There we go, that's better. Alright, just means I don't have to turn up certain elements so you can hear them. So yeah, the kick. That's it for the kick. Simple. Snare. Let's have a listen to a snare. No, what have I done? There we go, that's what I do. See here how these ones here sound a little bit shorter, but they're the same sample. Look, snare 12. Where is it? So you can hear that one's the full sample and one's being cut off a little bit. But because they're the same, they don't sound too out of place with each other when they're sat in the tune together. And then this. So as you can hear, this snare is sitting a little bit higher on the frequency range. Let's have a look on the EQ as I do it. So that's really filling out most of the frequencies here, to be fair. Whereas these, you can see we're losing it at the top end here. So this snare makes up for it. And when you play them together, the overall sound is of quite a dull, fuzzy snare, like a but you've still got a snappy hit at the start of it. And then this is a pretty typical pattern in dub reggae and stuff like that. Snare on the 3, it's like a 1-drop pattern. And then this little rhythmic end bit here just in between. It's like a offset delayed notes here. When that's paired up with this kick drum. Yeah. I would always recommend putting in some kind of variation on every 4 bars, even if it's just a little thing like this here, this little roll here. And then you take it out on the next one, that gives you instantly 8 bars of variation. Listen. Oh. Right. Sorry, I just had to disconnect my hard drive because it's acting up. So next up, we've got hi-hats. Let's have a look at the hats. It's 1 hat. But you can probably hear there's like a phaser. So let's listen to it without all this. So it's not a bad snare on its bad hi-hat on its own. But then when we cut out all this low and mid information here, overdrive, not much overdrive though, just a little bit. And then the phaser and flanger that keeps it moving throughout. The phaser is probably the reason I can get away with putting just 1 hi-hat in there because it adds interest. So that's constant. Even though the hat pattern's the same, the hats are constantly changing with that phaser. Let's have a look at this percussion. Now this one. So this is called Glass Loop. It's from a percussion loop pack. And basically, I've just added a load of effects and pumped it up. So on its own, I'm really going to try and I'm trying actively to stop saying so as much, but it's not easy because it seems to be something that I do constantly. what I'm going to do is add these on as we're listening to the loop. So OTT is multiband compression. Means you can do your compression on your highs, mids and low frequencies separately. And I'm pretty sure here I've just dragged the preset on, maybe had a little noodle around with these. But I couldn't tell you exactly what I've done. I've just tweaked it until I like the sound. So you can hear the difference. It's really pumped up. Anything that's not the transient, like the initial hit, it's pumped up all that back end stuff. Have another listen. It's like adding a reverb without having a reverb, really. EQ. Not much there. Not done too much there. This echo's automated, so I'm not going to do that. That's that'll be for like at the end of bars or something. I just automated a little bit of echo to go on there just to make it not sound like it's just dropped out of the track, like it's, you know, come out of its own accord. And then hybrid reverb, early reflections, Ableton Studio backwards LR, and Dark Hall. I can't tell you more than that. I've just put them on there and tweaked them until I like the sound of it. All together with the drums. And I personally think that adds a bit more of a natural feel to a loop that does sound quite digital. Like that snare makes it sound quite aggressive. But then the bongo, that last loop, whatever it is, just kind of softens it up a little bit. Up next, we got the crash. Just a crash, no effects, I don't think. Yeah, no effects on there. And that's just a crash cymbal sample. And that happens pretty much at the start of every phrase, yeah. The start of every section, there's one of those. And that's the drums. We've also got a drum bus on here, so let's hear it without the drum bus. Oh, need to unsolo that. This is the drum loop without the bus, without the drum bus. And then when I add it on, you'll just hear it all fill out a little bit. I'll wait until it loops around. It's kind of gelled everything together a bit, I think. Makes it sound like a proper loop within itself. Doesn't sound like separate parts, that's what I mean. That's without. And then that's with. Just let me check something, sorry. Yeah, we're recording. Let's put that back on. And that's the drums pretty much. Not much more to say on the drums, apart from all I've done here with this bit is just cut up the last loop. Ah, and here's where the echo comes in. So without that echo, these are going to sound really disjointed and like you'll be able to tell that they've been chopped up basically. Oh, without. So it's quite obvious that they've been cut up. But then with those effects on, it sounds a bit more natural. And yeah, that's the drums all done. So let's move on to the next bit. Bass. Now this bass is simple. There's not much to this at all. Now all I've done here is a sub, a sine wave. I've increased the attack a little bit just so you lose the click at the start. Let's have a listen. You can hear that click at the start, even though I've got a compressor on as well, which I'll turn off now. Right, this is the sound on its own. Right, that's not been affected at all. And then do you hear how that little click just disappears? You want to get rid of that little click doing this. Compressor. Now this is side chaining from the kick. You can probably see, so let me put the kick on. If If you don't know how to sidechain compress, all you want to do is drag the compressor in. And when you see the compressor, let me turn all this off. So this is your normal compressor working. It's pushing down the bass line because the bass line's coming that much over the top of this line here. It's pushing it that much lower down. But we want to sidechain that. So we're going to click this arrow here, click sidechain. You want to select where you want to sidechain it from. So you want to sidechain it from the kick drum. And then it'll start doing this. So you can see every time a kick drum hits, it drops the volume of the bass. And that just stops those two clashing, the frequencies clashing, and makes for a cleaner mix overall. Now let's stop that kick drum for just a second. I'm going to add the saturator in now, have a listen. It's only subtle. You can hear how it's pumped everything up. It's added a little bit of distortion on that top end. Let me just open this up and show you what settings are. This is saturation knob. I use this quite a lot. Important, I've clicked keep low here, so it's kind of adding a low rumbly fuzz on there. But if I put keep high, it's gonna give me a high end fuzz, like a more buzzy vzz, vzz, vzz. So that's distorting the higher frequencies. I wanted to distort the lower frequencies on this. And that's the sound. It's just like a very slightly gritty sub sound. And that's all there is. Yeah, that's it. Now, the skank. Let's have a listen. Again, this is a really simple sound with effects added. This is... Let's turn this off first. So the first one is the initial patch, the initial wave that comes in there when you start it up. The main thing I've done to this is the amount of voices. So let's remember harmonic, stretch and formant there. Let's take those out. All right. So that's chords on their own. This is, let me just play a note just to show you how sort of basic a sound it is. As a matter of fact as well, I need to take off that effect. You can hear that's a really basic sound. There's not much to that at all. Now, what did I say I had here? Was it formant and harmonic? Oh no, don't say I've lost it. Harmonic stretch, formant. There we go. So you can see it's changed the wave a little bit. Let's listen now. But the main thing, if I play a chord, the main thing here is the voices. Have a listen to how it changes when I add voices. Why won't it? Yeah? Do you hear how it added like layers of sound to it and it thickened it up? And that's the sound. That's literally the sound. There's nothing else to it, I don't think. Oh yeah, a little bit of attack added here, again, just to take the initial click of the note off. And then a little bit of the delay here. Single note delay there. And that's it. In regards to the chords and things, it's just... Is that G major? Looks like G major to me. and then moved everything just down a semitone. I assume that's F sharp minor. I might be wrong. But basically, I've taken the G major chord, I've dropped all the notes down one semitone for the next chord, and that's it. And then for that little variation, each one of the, you can see I've recorded them in live as well. I've left them off thing as well, off the notes. They're not quantized here. And then I wanted that last note to kind of make it sound a bit wonky. I don't really know how best to describe it, but it like like I want it to lean into the next thing. That leads you back up to the next note for the next sort of 2 bars. And then it takes you down. And then it takes you back up. And that's the thought that I had behind that. In a nutshell. And I think that's it for them. Next up we've got melodies. Oh, let's have a listen. Now this is quite an interesting one. This sound is all based on the effects. If I take all the effects off, you'll hear what I mean. That's the Theremin Vox preset in hybrid. This is hybrid, I'll just show you it quickly. I don't know much about this, but it's got some really nice presets. Theremin Vox. And then I've added EQ. Little Alter Boy, which does a lot of the changes. Come on, turn on. There you go. Yeah, so that's how I've built that sound up. Let's open these up and see. The EQ just cuts the bottom end off. Little Alter Boy is adding, so you can see here the mix isn't full. So you've got the original sound, but then you've also got a sound that's minus 12 semitones down from that. Performance at 7.1, normal setting. And then you'll hear a part where the automation at the end, it goes, it's the pitch. So the pitch goes all the way from minus 12 up to plus 12. And let's have a listen to what that sounds like. I think I've done that there. Like I say, it's without the Alter Boy, really. So that little bit at the end, you can hear it sort of go up. That's where the pitch change starts. Now let's find the other bit of pitch change. I think it's here. These are the same, but I've put them in different tracks just for a bit of control, I think. So if you look, the volume's completely different on this one to that one. This one's being used more in the parts where there's no bass here, and there's a little effect that starts a section, but then here it's actually its own thing, so I wanted to leave it on its own. Nope, I'm wrong. Oh, so that's it for that sound. It only does it. I'm sure I did that somewhere else. Oh yeah, it's here. No, it's not. I'm chatting shit. Let's move on. So I've shown you how I've done that. Let's show you the melody there. These are the bits where it goes, wow, wow. And yeah, that sound at the end is just being created, I'll show you again, by pitch modulation here. Where is it, Little Alter Boy? You'll see this. Just a little bit of variation to add to the end of it. The melody pluck. It's doing pretty much the same thing as the other melody line that I just showed you. And this sound is just Ableton's basic nylon concert guitar. We've added the spacious wah and then spectral time. You can hear that spectral time adds like gurgly, bubbly kind of stuff at the end of it. And that's that sound. Like I say, it's literally just the basic nylon concert guitar. You can see the settings there. Spacious wah, spectral time. And that's it, job done. Only difference here with these, it goes up an octave, which it does on the other one as well later on. So then same thing but up an octave. Easy as that. Chords. Now this is the same. This setup here, it's exactly the same for the chords, I'm pretty sure. But the chords are played lower down on the keyboard. So it gives you a bit of a different vibe. But same thing. Let's listen. So a very basic sounding nylon concert guitar sound. Let's add the wah. Spectral time. Not much more to say about that. It's the same instrument but playing chords instead. This mute guitar, this is the normal Ableton mute guitar, and it's just doing a bit at the end of every 8 bars. Yeah, end of every 8 bars it goes up, and then at the end of the next 8 bars it goes back down. Have a listen. And they just happen every 8 bars. Here, bit of a gap here, and then back here. Just more little, they call it ear candy, don't they? It's like stuff to add interest to the tune, little things to keep you listening that you don't realise making the tune varied. Now, again, I have used the same... Oh no, I need to go through this, don't I? So let's take off the effect here. So this has just got grain delay on it. Again, it's the normal mute guitar. Not much special about that. I added the grain delay. And again, you can see my settings here. Quite a long feedback you can hear there. Frequency set to 60 Hz. Midway dry wetish. This one, same. But it's also got the wah on it, which the other one doesn't have. That's just a little something to add interest to a part that I'd already had in the tune, and I just wanted to play it again later, but add something else to keep the progress. And that's it for that. Next is the bike crackle. It is exactly what it says it is. Let's see, minus 26.5. Let's put this up to loud so you can hear it. Bike crackle is me and my friend riding our bikes on a gravel path, and all I did was held my phone like down by the side of me and recorded it for about 5 minutes, I think. And then I've put it in here, picked out the bit that I thought didn't have any sort of too obviously not vinyl sounds in it. If that makes sense. So like the one that had a dog bark in it, I didn't want to put the dog bark in. And now what I'm going to do is take all these effects off. Alright. So the first one is an EQ, and that just removes all that low rumbly bottom end that you can hear. Let me turn that on. You can see straight away we've lost all this down here. We've just got the top end, and the sounds become really thin. I've added a phaser. Subtle, but if I turn it up, you can hear what that's doing, and that's now mixed in the sound. So it's part of the original sound and part of that phased sound as well. Another EQ. Presumably that's doing nothing. And then a compressor. Just to tidy up any of these crackly bits. You can see anytime it goes over this blue line, it makes a volume dip there. And that just keeps everything in control. And that's the sound. That runs all the way through the tune. Let me just... So that's the volume it's normally set at. It's barely there. But it just adds something in background I really like. That's something I do in pretty much all of my tunes. I will put some kind of background noise, whether it's going out in the garden and recording the outside. Who knows? But yeah, I think that's a really good thing just to fill out a tune. Get some fuzz, get some distortion or something, little crackly things in background. Makes it sound a bit like a vinyl. Here, next track is effects. Let's have a listen to these. Let's have a listen to it dry. You can see that's just this sound. Chopped up. And then hear the difference with the EQ and stuff. That's without. This is EQ. Taking out that thick bottom end. Reverb. Ooh, adds a bit of space. And the echo. And again, they just happen every 8 bars. Every 8 bars, a little laser happens. And that's it. Now, the last bit, and probably the most fun bit of the whole thing to do, was these samples here. Now I'm going to show you what I've got on the sound altogether. A reverb and an EQ. Now I didn't want the top like, I just wanted it to be like a muffled, like a bit more of a haunting sound, so I EQ'd it like this, which looks a bit insane, but I think it makes sense. Turn it on. Takes a lot of the like fidelity out of it, stops it being as crisp and clear and makes it a bit more muffled and a bit more sort of mysterious. And then reverb. Just a little bit of reverb, that's just to mix it all together. Now, let me turn these off. So that's the whole sound all together, but then what I've done, that's 2 copies of the same recording. So I'm going to show you the left one first. I've got my headphones on wrong way. Now this sound is just the original recording with reverb on it. And that's me. That's just me moaning out of pitch, singing. But I can't recommend putting your own vocals in your tunes enough. Like, I think it's a really good idea. It's a sound that no one else can make. It's literally your own sound. So do it as much as you can if you've got the equipment to do it. On the right hand side, did I break that? Yeah. So left with a bit of reverb. And then the right, the original sound on the right. Now, again, the little altar boy does the most of the work on this. And I've just changed the formant here. Fully wet. Have a listen. So without. This is on the right-hand side. And then with. If I change this. You can kind of hear what that does. Reverb. Now, I think the key to this sound is having a really small room size on the reverb, because it makes everything bounce back a lot quicker, and it just makes it sound like it's in a lot smaller space than it actually is. You can hear if I up the size. It makes it sound closer, but still gives it some space. Put all those together. And that's the final sound. And that's it. I think that's everything. All I did to record that, it's just a mic and my voice. There's nothing else really to record that. And I think that's everything. I think I'll leave it there. Let me just have a quick overview. Check I've not missed anything. No, I think I've got it. All right, sound. So that's been the track breakdown for my tune Kumbo. You can get the project file for this over on Scraps, and that's at www.scrapsaudio.com. Over there you can find all kinds of music production help, tutorials, sample packs. There's even ghost production available. Sign up, go check it out, and you can grab the project file for this to work along with it in your own version of Ableton. My name's Bosch. This has been a track breakdown. I'll see you next time.